I scaring. This was so cold. So much cold, and my feet is going so cold. I want to make me die.
Some crimes, some crime victims, touch you in a way that others don't. Marianne, who was 7, was one of the first migrants sent across the Channel in an inflatable boat. What happened to Marianne inspired me, an investigative journalist, and my colleague Rob Lawrie, to try and find and question one of the most wanted people smugglers in the world. No one thought we could ever find a criminal so high up in the smuggling trade. We met migrants already smuggled into the UK who warned us not to try.
Impossible you can find them. They are hiding and you can't see them. The top one, no one gonna know him.
I'm not scared of anyone, but these guys will put a bullet behind your back. They don't come face to you.
But we did eventually track Marianne's smuggler down. Barzan Majeed, an Iraqi Kurd in his late 30s, was on the run after being convicted in his absence in the Belgian courts of 121 counts of smuggling migrants by boat and lorry across the Channel and into the UK. Barzan Majeed calls himself Scorpion. His criminal associates are the Scorpion Gang. We sat down with him face to face in Iraq. He was totally without remorse. He felt safe, and he told us that in Iraq, people smuggling's not even a crime.
Nobody forced them. They wanted to. They're begging. They're begging the smugglers, please, please, do this for us. Sometimes the smugglers say, just because of the sake of God, I will help them. I will do this for them. And then they complain, they say, oh, this, that. No, this is not true.
How many people do you think you've smuggled through the UK?
Who, me?
Yeah. Honestly, just be honest.
Maybe 1,000, maybe 10,000, maybe, I don't know. I didn't count.
That interview, the culmination of our investigation, was released by the BBC on May the 10th, 2024, in what was intended to be the final episode of this series, To Catch a Scorpion. I've been investigating the migrant crisis and people smuggling with Rob Lawrie for almost a decade. We've made a lot of programmes about it. Rob's ex-British Army and a voluntary aid worker in migrant camps. His contacts have helped us understand how people smuggling works, and we've shared that with audiences. But we've never seen anything like the reaction on the day that To Catch a Scorpion hit the airwaves. Scorpion himself seemed to demonstrate the untouchable nature of a criminal class who continually evade the authorities, the ones right at the top, the masters of the smuggling trade.
The BBC has tracked down one of Europe's most wanted people smugglers, Barzan Majeed.
Here's just a taster from the scores of interviews we did for media across the world.
Barzan Majeed, nicknamed the Scorpion, admitted trafficking thousands of people, knowing it was illegal and dangerous. He's still operating.
Can I just ask you, Rob, having seen firsthand the harm that is done by people like that?
We started in the UK with the breakfast news programme on BBC television, first thing that morning.
What was that like for you?
Well, I remember a conversation in Iraq when he agreed to talk to me and Sue said, be professional.
It was a dangerous search that began in Nottingham, where Barzan Majeed used to live.
They are with us this afternoon on 5 Live. Good to see you. It's great to see you.
Be here at last a little bit of a nice, relaxing time. We've been off our feet today, haven't we? But,
obviously, we were pleased that the story was getting so much attention, but it was tempered by an enduring lack of justice. Scorpion was still free.
I didn't think through just how big it was going to be.
No.
I don't think you did either, did you?
I thought it was an amazing story to have found him and tracked him down.
That day started about 5 a.m. in the morning and finished at midnight. This is the day of the release of the podcast. It felt like an hour's long. It just went. Do you know when you go to a wedding?
Yeah.
And you're really excited about it, and before you know it, it's time to go home. Yeah. It was like that. You don't remember anything. It was just a whirlwind of media interviews.
What do you think it is, isn't it, that people...
I think it's a darkness that people are often told about but never really understand. You know, and I think we got to the core of the plight of refugees and migrants and the determination of smuggling networks to exploit and delivering them nothing but danger and death.
Rob and I thought the interest in our series would quickly die down. As it turned out, we were wrong about that, and Scorpion was wrong about the law in Iraq.
I'm pretty sure that if he was in touch with anyone around the world, there's probably going to be a lot of nervous people in this global network that they might be worried about their names and numbers being in his phone book.
It's a clear signal to them that even if they are in Iraq, that the Iraqi government and authorities are involved, and I think it's an important signal.
I'm busy. Busy. Why you come to here?
To see you.
That's finished. The game over. That's finished. Fuck people. People's not correct. People's not correct.
I'm Sue Mitchell, and this is To Catch a Scorpion from BBC Radio 4. Episode 9, A Sting in the Tail.
This is an issue that BBC journalist Sue Mitchell and volunteer aid worker Rob Lawrie has.
As we sat in the studios, we knew there was another recording with Scorpion that we'd made since we came back to the UK from Iraq. Just before the series was released, Rob had called Scorpion to suggest that now might be the moment to return to Europe, to give himself up.
Of course, I'll be untouchable in Iraq because they have no powers. If they have powers, they could have come to take me, to extradite me to Belgium.
Belgian prisons are nothing like Iraqi prisons, I can promise you that.
Yeah, of course, I know. I've done a couple of times in the UK, but anyway, when they take your freedom, even in your house, still, it's the same.
Well,
I'm gonna choose to stay here and live my life here.
Journalists in Iraq told us that the story of Scorpion was receiving a lot of attention there. People saw it on the BBC News website and clicked through to the series. Faraz Al-Ali works in Iraqi television.
أستاذ فراس بالبداية شكرا لحضرتك.
The subject, human trafficking, is a dangerous topic and internationally prohibited. Therefore, this report is very important for everyone, especially for us journalists, because it motivates us to do similar reports. The reporting around Barzan Majeed has raised issues of smuggling here, and people are asking why we aren't doing more.
And then, a few days after our interview with Scorpion was broadcast, the security services in northern Iraq announced that Scorpion had been arrested and was detained. A spokesman read a statement that was recorded by journalists there.
The human trafficking smuggler was arrested, named Barzan Majeed, as known as Scorpion, which is in Kurdish language known as Dupishk. He was wanted by some countries, so our teams were able to arrest him in Suleimania province.
After a BBC investigation, the notorious alleged people smuggler known as the Scorpion is arrested in northern Iraq.
He was detained on Sunday by local Kurdish forces.
He'd been on the run for over a year, but last month the BBC tracked him down.
So, is there now anything else?
Until now, there are two cases has been opened against him. One is human trafficking, and the other one is forging documents, European visas, passports, and travel documents to facilitate his illegal acts and criminal activities. And now he's in prison until the investigation comes to an end. We will announce any other things happened.
It had taken the Iraqi authorities only 3 days to pick up Barzan Majeed. Our interview with him aired on Friday, and by Monday he was in prison. Qubad Talabani, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Kurdish regional government in northern Iraq, explained that they didn't need an extradition treaty to move in on him. Iraq does have anti-trafficking laws. They've been on the statute book there since 2012. Since then, though, they've been enforced to try to root out human slavery, but haven't been used against migrant smugglers until now.
This is a relatively new phenomena for Kurdistan. So when the trafficking law was debated and passed, it was really, I think, intended to deal with people being trafficked into Iraq and Kurdistan. I don't think the essence of the law was to stop smuggling of people out of Iraq. Just because people were willing, it doesn't make this not trafficking. But I think it's a new challenge for us. So for us to get our heads around it as authorities, it's, maybe we're a bit behind the curve, but we're doing our best to get up to speed.
Mr. Talabani had seen the story of Scorpion and heard the series.
I was surprised, right, that somebody of that stature was... All these agencies around the world are looking for him, and you were able to find him and interview him in sunny Slemania. It makes me wonder what the world's security services are up to. So my first thing was surprise. And then the Asayish services in Slemania, obviously, the BBC reaches a very wide audience, and they looked into the case and looked into the person. They told me that they had him under surveillance. First, I think they were looking at a house that he was alleged to have owned, but then I think they got him at his in-laws' house, stepped out of the house and quietly arrested him without any fuss or without any altercations. There was a court order to detain him because the allegations were of human trafficking, and he had very clearly admitted, in his interview with you that he was involved and very much aware. So a court order was issued and he was detained, and he is still being processed and being interviewed. We're trying to understand the actual size and scope and nature of his involvement in this bigger operation.
Do you think it signals a sea change in how these things are going to be dealt with in the future?
I think it'll send a very strong message that this is not accepted, and the law is the law, and the services will do whatever they can to apply the law where and when they can. I'm pretty sure that Mr. Majeed is cooperating with the authorities, and so I'm pretty sure that if he was in touch with anyone around the world, there's probably going to be a lot of nervous people in this global network that they might be worried about their names and numbers being in his phone book.
It's obvious that Barzan Majeed must rue the day we found him. We'd done it with the help of contacts, some on the fringes of the migrant smuggling trade. Now, some of the smugglers themselves got in touch, telephoning Rob, really shocked the Iraqi authorities had picked up Scorpion. Here's what one of them said. For his own safety, his words are spoken by an actor.
It's making us nervous for the simple reason that we felt safe here. Now we've gone a bit scared. They're starting arresting smugglers, and that's different. None of us had even been stopped by police before. We didn't know that it was a risk. Everyone knows Barzan was arrested. It's gone crazy how many people are talking about it.
One of the most amazing things is that nothing was done about Barzan until the podcast was released.
Yeah, that's it for him now. It's going to be hard for him. I know it's bad in that prison. Even Barzan won't be able to get out of this one. It's not just him. There's a lot of smugglers here. The government knows it as well.
So there must be sort of like thinking we might not be as safe as we thought we were in Iraq.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Especially with the government saying they're going to be hardline about it. I saw it on the news when they were talking about Barzan and coming after others.
At the start of our hunt for Scorpion, we were told how important it is that smugglers fear the law by Anne Lakoviak. She's the prosecutor in Belgium who helped compile the case against Scorpion and his gang. She's delighted that he's been apprehended.
I was very happy that we received an answer from Interpol Baghdad that we had to send the extradition forms through the diplomatic channels. Even if they would retrial him there, for us it's okay. I think the most important is that his responsibility is recognized. So that's a good sign that they are acting upon that.
We ask Anne Lakoviak what other journalists are asking us. Why we could find Scorpion, just go after him and meet him and question him when they could not. She explains that it's because prosecutors on the trail of criminals crossing national boundaries have to abide by treaties with individual countries. Even if they'd found Scorpion, their officers have no jurisdiction. They can't barge into a foreign country and just pick someone up.
You don't have the barriers, the constraints. You don't have the framework you have to deal with. You know, you can easily go from one country to another. No, it's a system we work in, and it's kind of my job as well to make sure that we use the system well to, when a person is extradited or when evidence is shared, that it still stands in court. And now with Iraq, we just need to set a framework. Once it's there, we will have the cooperation. Will it be easy? I don't know. I hope it will be easy.
Do you think it will be easier because of this arrest of Barzan?
I think it's a good signal. It happens only 2 days after the podcast went live, so I think they had the right reaction. They could have said, oh, we didn't hear anything, and done nothing. But even in the press, in the region, it was there, and they were saying that he was arrested. For them, it was also important to show we want to take our responsibility and we want to cooperate.
But after what has happened with Scorpion in Iraq, Anne Lekoviak tells us that other smugglers on the run are right to be nervous. It seems the Iraqi authorities want to work with them. Belgium has sent a list to Iraq of people smugglers thought to be hiding there, and other countries are doing the same.
Well, we hope that this is the first step in a good cooperation. I think it's a clear signal to them that even if they are in Iraq, that the Iraqi government and authorities are involved and want to take their responsibility towards these criminals, yes. I think it's an important signal.
What's happened with that list of names?
They are aware that there are others. We had also requests from Germany about Barzan, who also heard the BBC and saw the podcast. So they reached out to us to see what's going on and how we are dealing with it. We are not the only country who really wants to cooperate with Iraq.
So the course of justice grinds slowly on. Just how slowly is evident when we decide to pay another call on Barzan Majeed's brother, Karzan. He's also a people smuggler. He lives in Belgium and he's been convicted twice in the Belgian courts. After this brother Karzan served his latest sentence, he was meant to have been deported. His lawyer had told us that this was a harsh, double punishment. But when we visited his neighbourhood as part of our search for Scorpion, we were amazed to find Barzan Majeed still working in a garage he owns. So weeks after our series is broadcast, we go back to check if this people smuggler, who should have been deported many months ago, is still here.
We're going to go in and see if he's there, so we kind of just parked outside we were down a back street.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if he's there, wouldn't it? Karzan, we've come to see you, buddy.
Hi.
Hello, buddy.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. Why you come to here?
To see you.
Why you come to here? You have my number. If you need me, call me.
Well, I did call you.
I want to say to you, you don't say what you want, and sometimes you broke my speak and you say another thing.
What did you want to say that we didn't?
That's okay. That's
that
okay.
you didn't say.
That's okay. You have to go to my country also. You see Barzan. What you ask to him.
Yeah. We made a series.
That's series not correct.
It is correct. What's not?
Some people say Barzan never touch one people, and Barzan, you have to see Barzan like that. And some people speak Barzan is killer, Barzan for money do everything. That's not correct.
Hang on. I offered Barzan, don't stay in Iraq.
Yeah, Barzan to Iraq, but
Barzan now is in trouble, yeah, in Iraq. But he already had that problem. We didn't cause that problem. We went to ask Barzan those questions because that's legitimate to do that because we're journalists.
What you want before and now Barzan take Barzan. But it's finished. Barzan in jail and that's finished. The game over. That's finished.
People would say that's right that Barzan's in jail though. He put people's lives at risk.
Fuck people. People's not correct. But people's not correct. That's not correct. Barzan in jail.
If they're not correct, why doesn't Barzan come back and face the courts? If they're not correct, if Barzan is innocent, why doesn't he come and face the prosecutors and face the court?
That's what I say to you, that's not correct. Barzan in jail is finished.
Okay.
I believe he's still here. You never know how it's going to go down. You know, I mean, he was very irate. To say he didn't want to talk, he did a lot of talking, didn't he? Mm. But, you know, I just can't understand how he's still in Belgium.
The continued presence in Belgium of Scorpion's brother Barzan seems to be another example of the way the talk about cracking down on migrant smugglers is not matched by action. Politicians across Europe from all parties are promising to take down the smuggling gangs. We ask Anne Lakoviak why Barzan is still at large here.
Decisions to have him deported is on a political level first, and then you have the administration who has to execute it. And I don't know.
Are you surprised?
I'm surprised, yes, because one of the priorities of our government before the elections, but I think it will remain with our new government, is that criminals should be sent back to the country of origin once they have been convicted, and conviction is final. For the brother of Barzan Majeed, it's final.
Some things have changed. On the way back to the UK, we returned to the port of Calais to a staff security gate that we were told was used by Scorpion for his VIP service. Migrants could walk in through it and be smuggled onto the ferry by a corrupt official. Not anymore.
That's the exact gate there, which he drew on that picture for us, but they seem to have some sort of guard on it, don't they?
Yeah, there's actually a proper guard on the gate now, isn't there?
I still can't get over that story, can you?
No.
Literally walked through there, went into that building, stayed in the toilet for 10 minutes, and then a couple of dudes came over onto the ferry and an English breakfast.
Yeah.
You couldn't make that up, could you?
A contact of Rob's had told us that Scorpion had been organising migrant smuggling not only across the English Channel, but from Turkey to Italy through Greek waters. That's an even more dangerous route where thousands have drowned. When we shared that intelligence with the Belgian police, they said it tallied with new information they're pursuing about Scorpion, and the Iraqis will also now investigate that. Here's Qubad Talabani again, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Kurdistan Regional Government in northern Iraq.
It is clear that there have been deaths in this process, and whether or not prosecutors will want to go beyond trafficking and look at the deaths involved, and can any of these deaths be tied to him or his colleagues in this process. So I think that there is a possibility of this branching beyond trafficking into potential manslaughter.
Do you feel there's a sense amongst families themselves that they're less willing to have their young people make these dangerous journeys?
Yes, getting the families of victims involved and getting them to be advocates to highlight the perils associated with this illegal trade. It's heartbreaking. There was this one incident, I think I'd say probably about a year and a half ago, when many from this town, Rania, lost their lives. And I met with all of these parents. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, whether they were going to blame us as the government for the poor economic situation. So I was ready to get blasted by them. But I was surprised that their anger was really directed at the smugglers. They blamed the smugglers for the loss of their children. They blamed those that coerced their kids into thinking this was an easy process, which gave me a bit of hope that, you know, we can enlist the support of responsible citizens to make it more publicly aware that, one, this is a crime, two, this is dangerous. And the cooperation that, you know, should really flourish as a result of this could be packaged in a way to be able to effectively communicate to our public and to yours about this phenomena.
Senior officials at the UK's National Crime Agency agree.
We're very much on the same page in terms of what this threat looks like and how we would like to respond to it.
Martin Clark's a senior investigating officer, and he's visited officials in Iraq. He sees many benefits from building closer working relationships.
And that relationship will only go from strength to strength as we move forward. I hope that he faces the courts in Iraq. You know, the evidence of his offending is put before those courts, and then the courts are able to determine the level of his guilt. And ultimately, I would hope that some of the victims of Barzan can take a little bit of solace in the fact that he's now in prison and he's going to be dealt with by the authorities.
Some of the people who helped us most in our search for Scorpion hate him because they hold him responsible for the deaths of people they love. We have no evidence to prove they're right to blame him, but they talk about passages booked on boats that proved unseaworthy, a reckless disregard for life. Those people are perhaps the most satisfied with what our investigation achieved, the hope of justice for someone high up in the ranks of this organised crime, the kind of figure cushioned by money, not usually caught.
In one night, he got £500,000 in one night. It's too much.
This man is a wealthy Iranian who paid Scorpion to smuggle him and his family into Britain. He passed on Scorpion's number to a family who were his friends. He doesn't know for sure who they booked their passage through, but believes it was Scorpion. The family were all drowned. He rang as soon as the series aired.
The father of those families said they were happy, very happy. It's very good news. Not just for me, for too many people. He has done too many things like that. You know, you don't know what he has done so far with us, with too many people. And actually, I really appreciate it of you again as well.
When we met Scorpion in Iraq, we were struck by the sheen of wealth attached to him. He looked like any successful young businessman dressed down for leisure. He was wearing new jeans and boots, an expensive shirt, a designer gilet. He had 3 young men with him, his protection detail, and the easy confidence that comes with wealth. We wondered what conditions are like in the prison in Sulaymaniyah where Scorpion is currently being held. And a colleague in Iraq recorded this with a man he knows whose brother is in the same jail.
وعرفنا إنه أخو حضرتك بالسجن صح؟ نعم. تقدر شوية تحكي لي عن
My brother has been in prison for 6 months in a small cell. It's always so very hot. Sometimes the heat is worse than other times and he cannot cope with it. He also struggles because we are hardly allowed to visit. It is it's very difficult to arrange when we can go, and sometimes they don't let visitors in.
Scorpion knew what he was risking when he became a people smuggler, and he knew what he was risking when he decided to stay on in Iraq after our series aired. Rob had called him to urge him to come back to Europe and serve his prison sentence there. Barzan Majeed is a man who believes in divine intervention, the hand of God in events.
God's great. Yeah, God will decide what happens to you in the next hour or next 10 years.
I believe God gives you choices, Barzan. God gives you choices. He doesn't decide, he gives you choices.
Yeah, but I made my choice. No prison, no nothing. The state of our prison is like hell. Less food, no sleep, 55 degrees hot, and there's no electric. Barzan's prison is not that good too, because my brothers tell me about it. They won't give you no iPhone or Galaxy to make a FaceTime to your son. So I'm gonna choose to stay here.
We will keep updating the story of Scorpion, a high-ranking people smuggler whose exploits illustrate the many holes in the systems set up by the authorities to catch him and others like him. Perhaps the impact of our work has helped tighten one small loophole. We hope so. I'm Sue Mitchell, and that was episode 9 of Intrigue to Catch a Scorpion from BBC Radio 4. You can find all the episodes on BBC Sounds. It was recorded by me and Rob Lawrie. It was produced by me, Winfred Robinson, and Joel Moores. Original music was by Mom Toody. The commissioner was Daniel Clark. The commissioning exec was Tracy Williams. The editor was Philip Sellers. Sound design was by Tom Brignall.